My mother looked me dead in the eyes and called me a thief. Her own son, the boy she raised, the one who helped her carry groceries every Sunday after church. But that didn't matter anymore, because my sister Vanessa said I stole her ring. And in my family, Vanessa's word was gospel. Mine was dirt. Before we continue, please comment below, as I'd love to hear your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel to help us hit that big 1,000 subscriber milestone. Let me take you back to where it all started. 2 days before my whole world fell apart. It was a regular Thursday evening. I was sitting in the living room of my parents' house in Atlanta, watching the Hawks game. I'd been living there for 6 months, saving up money to get my own place. I worked construction during the day, busting my back in the Georgia heat. The pay was decent, but rent in Atlanta wasn't cheap. My parents said I could stay as long as I needed, or at least, that's what they told me. Vanessa burst through the front door like a hurricane. My older sister always made an entrance. She had her designer purse on one arm and her fiancé Gregory on the other. Everything about Vanessa screamed success. She was a corporate lawyer at one of the big firms downtown, made 6 figures, drove a BMW, had a condo in Buckhead, and she never let anyone forget it. "Malik, you're still here?" she said, looking at me like I was a stain on the couch. "I live here, Vanessa," I said, keeping my eyes on the game. "You mean you're still living off Mama and Daddy?" she shot back. I bit my tongue. This was normal for us. Vanessa had always been the golden child. Straight A's in school, full scholarship to Spelman, law degree from Emory. Everything she touched turned to gold. Me? I was just Malik. Average grades, no college degree, working with my hands instead of my brain. In my family, that made me the disappointment. My mother came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. The smell of her famous mac and cheese filled the house. "Vanessa, baby, I didn't know you were coming by tonight." They hugged like they hadn't seen each other in years. It had been 3 days. "I wanted to show you all something," Vanessa said, her voice getting all excited. She held up her left hand. A massive diamond ring sparkled under the living room lights. "Gregory proposed! We're getting married!" my mother screamed. Actually screamed. She grabbed Vanessa's hand and stared at the ring like it was the Hope Diamond. "Oh my lord! Curtis, get in here! Our baby's engaged!" My father came rushing in from the garage. Within seconds, the whole family was crowded around Vanessa, congratulating her, admiring the ring. I got up and shook Gregory's hand. "Congrats, man." "Thanks, Malik," he said. He was all right, quiet. Let Vanessa run the show, which was probably smart. I hugged my sister. "I'm happy for you." For a second, her face softened. "Thanks, little brother." But that moment didn't last long. My mother was already planning the wedding, the venue, the guest list, the menu. Vanessa soaked it all up like sunshine. This was her element, being the center of attention, being perfect. "That ring must have cost a fortune," my mother said, still holding Vanessa's hand up to the light. "It did," Gregory said, smiling. "But Vanessa's worth it." "It's a family heirloom," Vanessa added. "Been in Gregory's family for 3 generations. His grandmother wore it. His mother wore it. Now me." My mother's eyes got teary. "That's so special, baby." I sat back down and tried to focus on the game. But the whole room was buzzing with wedding talk. Dates, dresses, flowers. None of it interested me. I was just trying to save enough money to move out and start my own life. That was Thursday. By Saturday, everything had changed. I woke up around 9 in the morning. I'd worked a double shift Friday, and my body was screaming at me. My hands were covered in blisters. My back ached. But that was construction. You pushed through the pain, collected your check, and kept moving. I was in the kitchen making breakfast when I heard someone pounding on the front door. Not knocking. Pounding, like the police were outside. I opened the door. Vanessa stood there, her face twisted with rage. Her eyes were red. Her makeup was smeared. Gregory stood behind her, looking uncomfortable. "Where is it?" she screamed. "Where's what?" "My ring, Malik. Where's my ring?" My stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play stupid with me." She pushed past me into the house. "I know you took it." My mother and father came running. "Vanessa, what's wrong?" my mother asked. "My engagement ring is missing," Vanessa said, her voice cracking. "And Malik's the only one who could have taken it." The room went silent. All eyes turned to me. "I didn't take your ring," I said, my voice steady. "Why would I do that?" "Because you're jealous," Vanessa shouted. "You've always been jealous of me. You can't stand that I'm successful and you're still living in Mama and Daddy's house at 34. "That's not true," I said. But my voice sounded weak, even to me. "I left the ring on the bathroom counter Thursday night after I showed it to Mama," Vanessa continued. "I washed my hands and took it off. When I came back 30 minutes later, it was gone. You were the only other person here." "I didn't go in the bathroom," I said. "I was watching the game the whole time." "Liar!" Vanessa's voice broke. She started crying, real tears. "That ring means everything to me. It's irreplaceable, and you stole it." My mother stepped between us, but she wasn't looking at Vanessa. She was looking at me, and her expression made my blood run cold. "Malik," she said slowly, "did you take your sister's ring?" "No, Mama. I swear to God, I didn't." "Then where is it?" my father asked. His voice was hard, cold. "I don't know. I didn't take it." But I could see it in their faces. They didn't believe me, my own parents. They looked at me like I was a stranger, like I was exactly what Vanessa said I was, a jealous thief. "Maybe you took it to sell it," Vanessa said, wiping her eyes. "Maybe you needed money and saw an opportunity. That ring is worth over $30,000. "I would never do that," I shouted. But I was losing this fight. I could feel it slipping away. My mother's face hardened. "Empty your pockets." "What?" "Empty your pockets, Malik. Right now." I couldn't believe this was happening. But I pulled out my wallet, my phone, my keys, nothing else. "Check his room," Vanessa said. And they did. All of them. My mother, my father, Vanessa, even Gregory. They tore through my room like I was a suspect, went through my drawers, my closet, under my mattress. They didn't find the ring because I didn't have it. But that didn't matter. When they came back downstairs, my mother's face was set like stone. "Malik, I think it's best if you leave." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. "What?" "You need to leave this house," my father said. "Today." "But I didn't do anything." "Your sister is devastated," my mother said. "That ring was priceless, and until it turns up, we can't have you here." "So you're choosing her over me?" I asked. "You're not even giving me a chance to prove I'm innocent." My father's jaw tightened. "We gave you a chance. You failed." "I want you out by Monday," my mother said. Her voice was final. No room for discussion. "Pack your things and go." Vanessa stood there with her arms crossed, satisfied. She'd won, like she always did. I looked at each of them, my mother, my father, my sister. The people who were supposed to love me, support me, believe in me. But they didn't. They never really had. "Fine," I said. My voice came out flat, dead. "I'll be gone by tomorrow." I turned and walked upstairs. Behind me I heard Vanessa crying again, my mother comforting her. "It's okay, baby. We'll find it. Maybe he already sold it. But we'll figure it out." They thought I couldn't hear them, or maybe they didn't care. I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. My phone buzzed. It was my boy, Rome. We'd been friends since high school. He was checking in about our plans to grab drinks later. I texted back, "Can I crash at your place for a while?" His response came quick. "Everything good?" "No. I'll explain later." That night, I packed everything I owned into 2 duffel bags and 3 garbage bags. 26 years of my life fit into trash bags. That's what I'd become to my family. Trash. I didn't sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, trying to figure out what I'd done wrong, why my own family would believe I was capable of stealing from them. But I couldn't find an answer, because there wasn't one. By Sunday afternoon, I'd loaded everything into my beat-up Honda. My mother watched from the kitchen window. She didn't come outside. Didn't say goodbye. My father was at church, or maybe he was avoiding me. Either way, he wasn't there. Only Vanessa came out. She stood on the porch with her arms crossed. "I hope you use this time to think about what you did," she said. I stopped and looked at her, really looked at her. My big sister. The girl I used to admire. The one I'd defended on the playground when kids made fun of her braces. The one I'd lent money to when she was broke in college. "I didn't take your ring, Vanessa," I said quietly. "One day, you're gonna realize that. And when you do, I hope you can live with yourself." Her face didn't change. "Goodbye, Malik." I got in my car and drove away. I watched my parents' house disappear in the rearview mirror. The place I'd called home for 34 years, gone. Just like that. Rome lived in a small apartment in East Atlanta. When I showed up with my bags, he didn't ask questions, just helped me carry everything inside. "You can stay as long as you need," he said. "But you gotta tell me what happened." I told him everything. The ring, the accusation, the eviction. When I finished, Rome just shook his head. "Man, that's cold. Your own family?" "Yeah." "You didn't take it, though, right?" I looked at him. "You really asking me that?" "Nah, bro, I know you. Just wanted to hear you say it out loud. So you know somebody believes you." That almost broke me. Rome's faith in me when my own family had none. It hit different. "Thanks, man. Don't thank me yet. That couch ain't comfortable." We both laughed, but it was hollow. Nothing about this was funny. That first week was hell. I kept expecting my mother to call, to apologize, to say they found the ring and realized their mistake. But my phone stayed silent. I showed up to work every day with my head down. Didn't tell anybody what happened, just pushed through. But at night, lying on Rome's couch, the anger would come. Hot and fierce. Burning through my chest like fire. My family had thrown me away like I was nothing. 34 years meant nothing. My word meant nothing. Vanessa pointed her finger, and that was enough. I thought about going back, demanding they listen to me, making them understand. But what was the point? They'd already made their choice. 2 weeks after I left, I was at a work site downtown. We were remodeling an office building. I was carrying drywall up 3 flights of stairs when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. "Hello? Malik?" It was my mother's voice, cold, formal. My heart jumped. "Yeah, it's me. Your father and I have been talking. We think it's best if you don't come around for a while. Vanessa's still very upset, and your presence would just make things worse." I couldn't breathe. "Mama, I didn't steal. We're not having this conversation again. I'm just calling to let you know that Sunday dinners are family only from now on. And by family, I mean people we can trust." The line went dead. I stood there on those stairs, phone in hand, drywall leaning against the wall. Around me, guys were hammering, drilling, shouting, building something new. But me? I was being torn down, piece by piece. That's when I realized the truth. I wasn't just losing my family. I'd already lost them. And the worst part, they were never coming back. That phone call from my mother broke something inside me I didn't know could break. She didn't just cut me off. She erased me, like I never existed. Like 34 years of being her son meant absolutely nothing compared to Vanessa's tears and accusations. I sat on Rome's couch that night and made a decision. If my family wanted me gone, I'd give them what they wanted. Complete silence. No calls, no texts, no showing up to prove my innocence. I was done begging people to believe me. "You sure about this?" Rome asked, handing me a beer. "I'm sure," I said. "They made their choice. Now I'm making mine." But cutting them off was easier said than done. Every Sunday around 4 o'clock, my chest would tighten. That was dinner time at my parents' house. I'd spent 3 decades at that table, eating my mama's cooking, listening to my father's stories, even dealing with Vanessa's bragging. It was home. Now I wasn't welcome there. The first month after the eviction was survival mode. I worked 50-hour weeks, sometimes 60, took every overtime shift offered. Rome's couch wasn't comfortable, but it was free. I saved every dollar I could, ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches, skipped lunch most days. But construction work is unpredictable. October hit, and the projects started drying up. Suddenly, I was down to 3 days a week, then 2. The money I'd saved started disappearing fast. "Man, I can float you on rent," Rome said one night. "Don't stress about it." "Nah, I'm good," I lied. I wasn't good. I was drowning. By November, I'd burned through my savings. Rome said I could stay rent-free, but I had pride. Too much of it, probably. So when the construction gig cut me down to 1 day a week, I started looking for anything else. Warehouse work, delivery driving, fast food. Nothing was beneath me anymore. I landed a night shift at a warehouse in College Park. The pay was terrible, but it was something. I'd work construction during the day when they called me, then drive straight to the warehouse for an 8-hour shift loading trucks. I'd get home around 6 in the morning, sleep for 3 hours, then do it all over again. My body was breaking down. I lost 20 pounds, had constant headaches. My hands shook from exhaustion. But I couldn't stop, because stopping meant facing the truth, that I had nothing, no family, no real home, no future I could see. One Friday night in December, I was so tired I fell asleep at a red light. The car behind me honked and I jolted awake. My vision was blurry. My chest felt tight. I pulled over into a gas station parking lot and just sat there. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. My heart jumped, thinking maybe it was my mother. Maybe she'd realized her mistake. But it wasn't her. It was Vanessa. "I know you're struggling. That's what happens when you steal from family. Hope it was worth it." I stared at that text for 5 full minutes. My sister, the person who destroyed my life. She was checking in to gloat, to make sure I was suffering enough for a crime I didn't commit. Something inside me shifted. The anger I'd been holding back, the rage I'd been swallowing down, it all crystallized into something else. Determination. I wasn't going to let them win. I wasn't going to let Vanessa's lie define the rest of my life. I deleted the text, blocked the number, and I made a promise to myself right there in that gas station parking lot. I was going to build something, not for them, for me. But that wasn't even the worst part. What came next almost destroyed me completely. A week before Christmas, Rome sat me down. He looked uncomfortable, kept cracking his knuckles, which he only did when he had bad news. "What's up?" I asked. "My girl's moving in," he said. "Her lease is up in January, and we figured it makes sense financially. But, this is a one-bedroom, man." I felt it coming. "You need me out." "I'm not kicking you out," Rome said quickly, "but it's going to be tight, real tight, and you know how it is when a woman moves in. She's going to want her space, want us to have our space." "I get it," I said, and I did. Rome had done more for me than my own blood family. I couldn't be mad at him for wanting to move forward with his life. "I'll be out by New Year's," I told him. "You got somewhere to go. I'll figure it out." But I didn't have anywhere to go. I'd been sending out apartment applications for weeks. Every single one came back denied. Bad credit, not enough income, no references. I was stuck. December 31st rolled around. Rome and his girl were out at a party. I'd told them I had plans, but I didn't. I just didn't want to be there when they got home all happy and in love, knowing I was about to be homeless. I loaded my stuff into my car. All of it fit. That's how little I had. I drove around Atlanta for hours, trying to figure out my next move. Shelters were full, hotels were too expensive. I had $300 to my name, and that had to last until my next paycheck. I ended up sleeping in my car that night in a Walmart parking lot. New Year's Eve. While the rest of the world celebrated new beginnings, I was curled up in my back seat with a blanket Rome's grandmother had made me, wondering how I'd gotten here. My phone lit up at midnight. Fireworks popped in the distance. People were posting on social media, celebrating with their families. I had nothing. I cried that night. First time since I was a kid. Just sat there in my car and let it all out. The betrayal, the exhaustion, the loneliness. Everything I'd been holding in for months. When I finally stopped, I looked at myself in the rear-view mirror. Bloodshot eyes, scraggly beard, hollow cheeks. I barely recognized the man staring back. But he was still here, still breathing, still fighting. January brought a miracle I didn't see coming. Xavier, one of the guys from the construction crew, mentioned he was looking for a roommate. His place was in Decatur, small, kind of rough, but it was a roof. "Rent's $500 a month," he said. "You in?" "Yeah, man, absolutely." Xavier became part of my new circle. Him and Rome were the only people who knew the full story, who knew what my family had done, and neither of them judged me. They just showed up. The construction work picked back up in February. Spring projects were starting. I was back to full-time, sometimes more. The warehouse gig I dropped because I physically couldn't do both anymore. But one solid income was better than killing myself for 2 weak ones. In March, something unexpected happened. I met Aaliyah. She came into the diner where I grabbed breakfast before work every morning. She was a nurse at Grady Hospital, just getting off a night shift. We kept running into each other. Same time. Same spot. She'd smile. I'd nod. That went on for 2 weeks. Finally, she sat down at my table, uninvited. "You gonna keep acting shy, or you gonna ask for my number?" she said. I almost choked on my coffee. "What makes you think I'm shy?" "Because you've been staring at me for 2 weeks, but haven't said a word." She smiled. "So here I am, making it easy for you." "I'm Malik," I said, holding out my hand. "Aaliyah." She shook it. Her grip was firm, confident. "Now can I have some of those hash browns? I'm starving." We talked for an hour. She was funny, direct, didn't play games. When I told her I worked construction, she didn't look down on me. When I mentioned I had a roommate, she didn't ask why a 34-year-old man wasn't living alone. She just saw me, not my circumstances, not my past, just me. We started seeing each other. Nothing serious at first. Coffee dates, movies, long drives through the city. She told me about her family in New Orleans, her mama who raised 3 kids alone, her little brother in medical school. She was proud of them, loved them fiercely, and it hurt, because that's what family was supposed to be. Supportive, proud, present. I didn't tell her about my situation for a while, didn't want to scare her off with the drama. But eventually, about 2 months in, it came out. We were sitting in her car outside my apartment when she asked, "You never talk about your family," she said. "They around?" I hesitated, but something about Aaliyah made me want to be honest. "We don't talk anymore." "Why?" So I told her. The whole story. The ring, the accusation, the eviction, the months of struggle. By the time I finished, her hand was covering her mouth. "Malik, that's terrible. I'm so sorry." "It is what it is," I said. "No, it's not." Her voice got firm. "They should have believed you. They should have had your back. That's what family does." "Well, mine doesn't." She grabbed my hand. "Their loss. Because you're a good man. I see that. And if they can't, they're blind." That moment changed something between us. We got closer, more real. She met Rome and Xavier. They loved her. Called her the upgrade because she brought actual groceries to the apartment and cooked real meals. By summer, things were looking up. My boss at the construction company, Mr. Thompson, pulled me aside one day. "Henderson, you're a hard worker," he said, "one of my best. I got a crew lead position opening up. Pays $15 more an hour. Comes with benefits. You interested?" I couldn't believe it. "Yes, sir." "Absolutely." "Good. You start Monday. Don't make me regret this." I didn't. I threw myself into that job like my life depended on it. Because in a way, it did. That promotion meant stability, security, a path forward. The money helped too. I opened a savings account, started putting away $50 every week. It wasn't much, but it was something. Proof that I was building a life without my family's help. But even with all the good things happening, there was an emptiness I couldn't fill. Every achievement felt hollow, because the people who were supposed to celebrate with me weren't there. When I got promoted, I wanted to call my father. When Aaliyah and I hit 6 months together, I wanted my mother's advice, but I couldn't, because they'd chosen Vanessa over me. And that choice was final. Time kept moving. Summer turned to fall. Fall turned to winter again. Then another spring. The seasons changed, but my family's silence never did. No calls, no texts, no apologies. It was like I'd died, and they'd moved on without me. I tried not to think about them, but it was impossible. They were everywhere. In the way I organized my tools, like my father taught me. In the mac and cheese recipe I could never get quite right, because I didn't have my mother's touch. In every accomplishment that felt incomplete because I had no one to share it with who really knew me. Rome noticed. "You still carrying that weight, huh?" "What weight?" "The family stuff. You think hiding it means I can't see it. But I can. You're doing great, bro. But you're not free." He was right. I wasn't free. I was successful. Stable me. In a good relationship. But I wasn't free, because part of me was still that kid sitting on those stairs, holding his phone, wondering why his mother's love came with conditions. Then came the day everything changed. It was a Tuesday in early October, almost 3 years to the day since I'd been kicked out. I was at work, supervising a renovation project downtown, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I'd learned to ignore those. But something told me to answer this one. "Hello? Malik?" It was my father's voice, shaky, old. "It's Dad." My heart stopped. What's wrong? Is Mama okay? She's fine. We're all fine, but we need to talk to you. In person. Can you come by the house tonight? What's this about? There was a long pause. We found it. We found Vanessa's ring. And son, we were wrong. We were so wrong. I stood in my work truck, phone pressed to my ear, and felt nothing. My father's words should have hit like a wave. Relief, vindication, joy. But there was just emptiness. 3 years too late. Malik, you still there? My father asked. Yeah, I'm here. Will you come tonight? Your mother really wants to see you. The laugh that came out of me was cold, bitter. Now she wants to see me? 3 years. 3 years, Dad. And now that you know I was telling the truth, suddenly, I'm worth your time. Son, please, let us explain. Let us make this right. There's nothing to explain. You all made your choice. I was just the one who had to live with it. I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking. Not from fear or sadness. From rage. Pure, burning rage that I'd kept buried for 1,000 days. Xavier walked over. Boss, you good? You look like you've seen a ghost. They found it, I said. The ring. My family. They found it. Oh, damn. So they know you didn't take it. Yeah, they know. That's good, though, right? You've been waiting for this. But had I? Somewhere deep down, I'd stopped waiting for my family to realize their mistake. I'd stopped hoping they'd come back. I'd built a whole new life, specifically because I knew they never would. And now here they were, 3 years later. Wanting to talk. I didn't go that night, didn't even consider it. Instead, I went home to Alia. She'd gotten off her shift early and was cooking dinner in my apartment. Our apartment, really. She'd been staying there more nights than not for the past year. Baby, you okay? She asked when she saw my face. What happened? I told her about the call, the ring, the invitation to come home. She put down the spoon and turned to face me. What are you going to do? Nothing. They don't deserve a response. Malik, her voice was gentle but firm. You gotta hear them out. Not for them, for you. You've been carrying this weight for 3 years. Maybe this is your chance to put it down. Or maybe it's just gonna hurt worse. Maybe. But you won't know unless you go. She was right. I hated that she was right. But she was. That Friday, I drove to my parents' house in Atlanta. The same house I'd grown up in. The same house I'd been thrown out of. I sat in my truck outside for 10 minutes, just staring at the front door. My hands gripped the steering wheel. This was harder than I thought it would be. Harder than sleeping in my car. Harder than working 2 jobs on no sleep. Because those things I could fight. This was just walking back into the place that broke me. Finally, I got out and walked to the door. Before I could knock, it opened. My mother stood there. She looked older, grayer, smaller somehow. Malik, she whispered. Then she started crying. I stood there, didn't hug her, didn't say anything. Just waited. Come in, please. The house looked the same, smelled the same. My mother's mac and cheese, my father's cigars, everything familiar and foreign at once. My father sat in the living room. He stood when I entered. Son. Don't call me that, I said. My voice came out cold, flat. You gave up that right 3 years ago. He flinched like I'd hit him. Good. I wanted him to hurt. Malik, we need to tell you what happened, my mother said. About the ring. I already know what happened. Vanessa lost it, blamed me. You believed her. End of story. "There's more to it," my father said. "Please, sit down." I didn't want to sit, didn't want to be there at all, but I'd come this far. Might as well hear it. 2 weeks ago, Vanessa's kitchen sink backed up, my mother started. Gregory called a plumber. When they opened the garbage disposal, they found the ring. It was stuck in there, scratched up but intact. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No vindication. Just tired. Vanessa remembered that night 3 years ago, my father continued. She'd washed her hands in that bathroom, took off the ring, put it on the counter. Later she went to the kitchen to help your mother with dishes. She thinks she must have picked up the ring with something else. Accidentally dropped it down the disposal. So she lost it herself, I said. And instead of admitting that, she blamed me. She panicked, my mother said. She was scared. That ring meant everything to Gregory's family. When she couldn't find it, she destroyed my life, I cut her off. That's what she did, and you helped her do it. The room went quiet. You're right, my father said. His voice cracked. We failed you. We should have believed you. Should have investigated before making accusations. Should have never put you out of this house. We were wrong, completely wrong. And there's no excuse for it. My mother reached for my hand. I pulled away. I want you to know, she said, that we've been sick about this. The guilt, the shame. When we found that ring and realized what we'd done, it broke us. We tried to find you. Called your old number. It was disconnected. Went by the construction sites. They said you'd changed companies. We didn't know where you were. You could have tried harder, I said, but the truth is you didn't want to find me, because finding me meant admitting you were wrong, and you all couldn't do that until you had proof. But that wasn't even the worst part. What came next made everything clear. Where's Vanessa? I asked. She here? Ready to apologize? My parents looked at each other. That look told me everything. She wanted to come, my mother said quickly, but she's dealing with a lot right now. The guilt is eating her alive. She's in therapy, on medication. This has been really hard on her. I stood up. Hard on her? Hard on her? Son, please. Don't. Just don't. I started pacing. I lost everything because of her lie. I was homeless, slept in my car, worked myself half to death. Lost 3 years with my family, and you're telling me this has been hard on her. She made a mistake, my mother said. A terrible mistake, but she's your sister. She loves you. She doesn't love me. If she did, she would have told the truth when she realized she might have lost the ring herself. She would have said, wait, let's look harder before we accuse Malik. But she didn't. She threw me under the bus to save herself. That's not love. That's selfishness. My father stood. You're right about all of it. Vanessa should be here. But she's scared, Malik. She knows what she did to you. Knows she can't take it back. She's afraid you'll never forgive her. She's right to be afraid. But we're family, my mother pleaded. We stick together. We forgive each other. That's what family does. No, I said. My voice was steel. That's what family is supposed to do. But you all didn't do that for me. When I needed you to stick together, to believe me, to have my back, you threw me away. So don't talk to me about what family does. I headed for the door. My mother grabbed my arm. Malik, wait. Please. We want to make this right. Whatever it takes. We'll pay you back for everything you lost. Help you get a house, a car, whatever you need. I looked at her hand on my arm. You think money fixes this? You think you can pay me, and suddenly we're good? No, my father said. But we want to try. We want you back in our lives. Sunday dinners, holidays, everything like it was before. It'll never be like it was before, I said. That version of me died the day you chose Vanessa over me. The man standing here, You don't know him. And honestly, he doesn't want to know you. Don't say that, my mother cried. You're our son. We love you. You love the son you thought you had, the one who'd do anything for this family, who'd take your disrespect and keep coming back. But that man is gone, and he's not coming back. I walked out. This time, I didn't look back. In my truck, I sat there breathing hard. My phone rang. It was Vanessa, finally. 3 years later, and she'd worked up the courage to call. I answered. What? Malik. Her voice was small, broken. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I ruined your life. I know I did, and I hate myself for it. Please, please forgive me. You want forgiveness? I asked. Go to church, pray about it, but don't ask me, because I got nothing for you. I was scared, she sobbed. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. The ring was missing and Gregory's family was asking about it, and you just blamed the easy target, your little brother, the disappointment, the one nobody would defend. That's not true. I love you. I've always loved you. You loved yourself more. Still do. That's why you're not at Mama and Daddy's house right now. Because even now, even knowing what you did to me, you're too much of a coward to face me. The line went quiet, except for her crying. I hope you got everything you wanted, Vanessa, I said. The perfect life, the successful career, the big wedding with that ring. I hope it was worth what it cost me. I hung up, blocked the number. Then I drove to Aaliyah's place. She was waiting on the porch, took one look at my face and wrapped me in a hug. Didn't ask questions, just held me while I fell apart. Later, lying in her bed, I told her everything. So what now? She asked. I don't know. They want me back, want to make it right. But I don't know if I can do that. Don't know if I want to. Do you love them? Still? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, part of me does. But love isn't enough. They proved that. So what do you need? Time, space, boundaries? I'm not going to pretend like everything's fine. I'm not going to show up to Sunday dinners and act like they didn't throw me away when it was convenient. That's fair, Aaliyah said. You get to decide what this looks like, not them. 2 months later, my boss offered me a promotion. Crew supervisor for our new branch in Nashville. More money, more responsibility. A chance to start fresh in a new city. I took it. I told my parents in a text message. Didn't call, didn't visit. Just sent a message explaining I was moving, that I'd let them know when I was ready to talk, that it might be months, might be years, might be never. My mother called immediately. I didn't answer. My father texted back. We understand. We'll be here whenever you're ready. We love you. I didn't respond. Aaliyah decided to come with me. Put in for a transfer at Vanderbilt Hospital. Got it within a week. You're not getting rid of me that easy, she said, smiling. Rome and Javier helped me pack. We loaded up a U-Haul on a Saturday morning in December. 4 years after I'd packed my life into garbage bags, I was doing it again. But this time was different. This time I wasn't running. I was choosing. You good? Rome asked as we finished loading. Yeah, I'm good. Your family gonna be all right? Eventually. Maybe. But that's not my problem anymore. He hugged me. Proud of you, man. You came through hell and came out stronger. Couldn't have done it without you. Yeah, you could have. But I'm glad you didn't have to. That night, Aaliyah and I drove to Nashville. Left Atlanta in the rearview mirror. Left my family's guilt and Vanessa's apologies and my parents' desperate attempts to fix what they'd broken. I thought about calling them, telling them I was leaving, but I didn't owe them that. They'd thrown me out with 2 days' notice. I could leave with 2 months. On the highway, Aaliyah reached over and squeezed my hand. "You okay?" "I will be." And I meant it, because I'd learned something in those 3 years. Family isn't just blood. It's not automatic. It's not unconditional. Real family is the people who show up when you're broken and help you build yourself back. It's Rome letting me crash on his couch. Xavier splitting rent when I had nothing. Aaliyah loving me when I felt unlovable. That's family. That's what matters. My blood relatives? They'd get my forgiveness eventually. But they'd never get back what they lost, because the man they threw away was gone, and the man I'd become didn't need them anymore. 6 months into Nashville, I got a letter. My mother's handwriting. I almost threw it away. But something made me open it. Inside was a single page. "Malik, your father and I know you need space. We respect that. But I need you to know something. I failed you. Not just when we accused you of stealing. I failed you long before that. I made Vanessa the golden child, and you the afterthought. I expected you to be okay with less attention, less praise, less love. I convinced myself that you were strong enough to handle it, that you didn't need as much from me. I was wrong. You deserved better. You deserved parents who believed in you as much as they believed in your sister, who defended you as fiercely as they defended her, who loved you without conditions. I can't give you back those years, can't undo the damage, but I want you to know that I see it now. I see what we did to you, and I'm sorry. So deeply sorry. We'll be here, whenever you're ready, if you're ever ready. I love you. I always have. I just showed it poorly. Mama." I read it 3 times, then I folded it up and put it in my desk drawer. Maybe one day I'd respond. Maybe one day I'd let them back in, piece by piece, with boundaries and conditions and the understanding that they'd have to earn what they'd thrown away. But today wasn't that day. Today I had a life to build. A woman I loved who loved me back. A job I was good at. A future that belonged to me and nobody else. My family had kicked me out because my sister lied. They'd believed the worst about me, without question. They'd abandoned me when I needed them most. But they didn't break me. They just showed me who I really was, and who I could become without them. That was their loss, not mine. Thanks for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please leave a like and subscribe. Have you experienced something similar? Share your story in the comments below.